bets. Let's begin. That's 20. Got a 7. Another? 13. Got 18. Bets, please. You had a good run there.
Violet, it's that kind of hypersexualized clothing that exploits and demeans women.
Fuck me.
Fuck me! Time for impotent rage! Where is it?
Here.
For the record, this is an organic, entirely fair trade cotton one piece that is dyed in berry juice, harvested by a lesbian.
The perfect cash events app did not exist until now. I gotta tell you about Leo. Leo is a cash events app where you can get. I wonder what that's about. Why is he bringing 7 people from Texas to Maryland? Anyone have any thoughts on that? You think they were just going to have some Texas barbecue down there? Get them some brisket? So do you think it's conceivable that Abrego Garcia, our Maryland father, was a member of the Maryland-based clique? Ah, right. So the lawyer's like Western clique. That's only in New York.
This woman came into court twice, getting a restraining order against him, saying he had beaten her, he had punched her in the eye, he had ripped her clothes off. What caused the young mother to do this? Her child was with her.
The Killmonger wife-beater Abrego Garcia case gets worse, and the Maryland man folks crumble. This is behind-the-scenes look at what happened in one of those domestic violence order of protection proceedings that occurred when Jennifer Vasquez, the wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, this person right here, when she went into court and filed for an order of protection. Now, we talked about it yesterday. Our friend Andy NGO shared some details explaining that he discovered 2 cases where Kilmar Abrego Garcia was in domestic violence cases brought by his so-called wife, Jennifer Vasquez, against him. You see this one from 2020, this one from 2021, both pretty shocking because they told us this guy is an excellent father, always been there for his children, and all sorts of things. But we learned more that the order of protection was filed, and we also read through the police report showing that there's a lot of gang-related activity, including a report and a gang field interview sheet that identified 3 people as being members of a gang that he was palling around with. One of the guys was not, so they let him go. But Kilmar was smart. In addition to all of that, he then got Fox News and their friend Bill Malushin posting the juicy details behind the order of protection. And big questions about this. Why wasn't this brought forward in any of the proceedings? What happened was, in fact, that Abrego Garcia's lawyers, many of them ACLU adjacent folks, or CASA adjacent folks, or union adjacent folks, all came in and told us this guy was like an innocent, loving father, said no criminal history, left out all of this stuff. It might be relevant to a judge who's making a decision about it. Left it out intentionally because they're dishonest people. But here's what we actually learned. So the wife came in and filed this. looks like it was at Prince George County Court, Upper Marlboro, and submitted this May 5th, 2021, with her signature right there. Says, all right, here's a petition for a protection order. Says, I told him, Abrego Kilmar, to give me his card to pay. He got angry, started insulting me. I only put a few of gas. Once leaving there, he pulled out like crazy. I started recording because I was scared of the way he was driving, and because our 1-year-old was in the back seat. In the recording, you can hear him yelling, insulting me, driving extremely fast. On May 4th, 2021, she says, I was watching on my laptop, and he yelled, turn it off. I told him I wasn't sleeping yet, and he got angry, and he reached over, and he threw my laptop on the floor, and the baby started to cry, because he was putting pressure on him. And my immediate reaction was to push him off the bus. And then he punched, scratched me on my left eye, leaving me bleeding. That same day at 2 p.m., he came home to say he was going out with a friend. And I told him I needed to go pick up some orders at DJ's. And he got angry and started yelling again to the point that he ripped my shorts and shirt off, and I ran to the bathroom. And he ran behind me, grabbed me by my arm. I have marks on my left arm as well. He then came home at 12 p.m. I left my car parked in the neighborhood, and in the morning, I asked him for the key and said he wasn't going to give it to me because he had things to do. I ordered Uber to leave with my kids because scared of him. Minutes later, he called that our car wasn't there anymore. At this point, I am afraid to be close to him. I have multiple photos and videos of how violent he can be and all the bruises he has left me. The children with me. Wow, man, this is who the Democrats are fighting for, going down there to get him out of custody. They want him back in our country. Multiple photos and pictures. I wonder if those are part of the court record. That doesn't sound like a loving husband, loving father, loving kid, loving to the children. In fact, some of those things might be actual crimes, right? Very serious crimes. Like this driving stuff with the kid in the car, you could call that reckless driving, which would be in Arizona a misdemeanor, or you could call it reckless endangerment. You've got a kid in the car, which could be a felony, and that could get real bad pretty quickly. Now, she doesn't want to call the police, right? And by the way, all of these physical altercations, those are all assaults. Bleeding, permanent injury, stuff like that, those are felonies. So these could all be.
This is the
She
cutting
could have
edge
called the
portable
police
Wi-Fi
and report
hotspot
all
at a
of this
beach which they
in
found out.
because he's illegal. And if that would have happened, there would have been a problem. So every time they come back, they're like, he hasn't been charged with a crime. Yeah, because he's committing crimes and nobody's reporting them. That's the point. Should be crimes. There's evidence of multiple crimes here. She can call the cops that time that happened. So don't let that stupid little phrase that they like to drag out.
The incompetence of the Democrat rats for going down there, all of them should be fucking fired because this guy is not a upstanding fucking guy. He's a fucking criminal gang member.
Arrested immediately like they should have in the court back then. Every time you missed a traffic ticket case, they're rounding him on the phone because then this happened. And now this woman, I don't know what her situation is. She's got 3 kids. She's got all this pressure coming down upon her with CASA and all the things. You know, it's hard to dunk on her too much. She seems like she has no idea what the hell's going on, quite frankly. And it's just a useful pawn at the moment. But she was attacked by this. And I hope people spread this photo, right? Because they've used this a lot. He's never been convicted of any crime. He should have. He should be in jail. This was just one incident. Don't know how the other one was. And she did file, okay, orders of protections for all of the other beatings that have occurred. I have multiple photos and videos of how violent he can be and all the bruises he has left. Okay, probably not just for this one incident, probably for many other incidents. Beat the hell out of him. So that's what they're throwing all their into. Wild scene. Here's what Jennifer wrote in page 2. Says, person who are protected is me. There are additional persons living at the home. Here's another incident. Okay, prior injuries. Look, December 2019. She didn't file. Okay, what happens a lot in orders of protection? It's like it has to be within a year. Like, when was it? Was it 5 years ago? Okay, we're not going to teach you orders for that. But they want to know about prior history. So he's got a bunch of it. December 2019, November 2020, hit me with his work food. You know, it's like a tackle, right? Is that what they call it? August 2020, hit me in the eye, moving me in purple light. Like right in the face, like backhand dug in. And he molds his now. I'm over the most of the responded, not talking Jennifer Vasquez, not to go to the reservoir of Apple Hills and camp where the residence is, right? Don't go to a store, don't go to a business, don't try to protect the harass or to protect it. One of the things this is to America. Because the American dream. Bring the families. Yeah, that's great. That's a lot more than this population. Yes, side by side that action.
Now you see why they hate Elon Musk. Elon Musk know the fucking criminals. Elon Musk know where the bodies are buried at. Elon Musk been studying these fucking people. Everybody dealing with this bullshit needs to be fucking fired immediately. And it's a lot of the Democrat rats. It's a lot of the Republican fucking clowns. It's a lot of them been playing the people. A lot of them treating our business like their own personal piggy bank. And it's time for these assholes to go to fucking prison.
Leading the THP to contact the FBI for guidance. So
Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff,
the FBI ultimately requested that the
fake mad scientist Dr. Fauci.
Mr. Beray's like, oh, they're illegal. Plan to protest on behalf of kids or anything like that? No.
Too much corruption.
Within 2 hours, the FBI ultimately requested that you charged and forces the various needed for the Brandon Garcia stopped travelers on December 6th, 2000. As the officers responsible for the stop discovered he was transporting 7 passengers, 8 people inside the door. This 2 hours traffic stop, they determined that the operating vehicle without the driver license and the answer as first entry stop. Once the violation, his ultimately knows would get a solid review at the terror flood, but they could not locate any location. Another source told me cars that Tennessee did not discover a way to the terror flood, but that another one of the second passengers gave them here already. ICE knows this. True. Now, the Tennessee says they called FBI, which was then led by Graham, and the FBI instructed them to photograph and documents the contents of the vehicle. One of the photographs was captured. This was pulled the car, but the FBI requested that they release once the photograph was done. Let it go. The star also lists the cases of the crowd made the officer responsible for the stop, but that Drago was passengers were released by the FBI. Information about this incident, including the identity of the THP officer, the officer's badge number, and the CAD computer aided dispatch report, code are all known to the star. So there is a record. Currently holding this information. They got sources familiar with the computer dispatch of the incident. Told the star. The officer filed a report confirming 7 individuals in the van were being transported to Texas, from Texas to Maryland by Garcia. What about the why is he bringing 7 people from Texas to Maryland? Anyone have any thoughts on that? They were just going to have Texas party down there? We're doing some brisket down there. Especially if it's anyone convicted of that, the officer who detained Garcia temporarily while suspected of Tennessee highway has served on a special interdicting team that's based in a district located between Nashville and Knoxville. In response to Wednesday's press inquiries, Tennessee and Homeland both confirmed that they got the communications. They have sent responses to comment requests by the stars of the FBI. Answers are also contacted Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, kind of like a state as chief authority over human trafficking to determine whether he was released due to a TBI investigation. Homeland also waiting on answers. He was granted a withholding of removal order. He was deported in 2021. Jail said we're not having to release their social security numbers. Increased to 1.1 million for close to here. For some reason, Democrats increased 3 years. And the trust it's just the silent process saying the answer probably is not. And it's not just the social security numbers that we're talking about. This presentation of social security numbers used as a gateway for everything. Government benefits, healthcare, voter registration, yes, actually, all citizens that they supposedly track down and now refers to the Department of Justice. That's exactly what Elon Musk was saying during his appearance on Joe Rogan a couple weeks ago. This was the Biden right. A further violence fraud, willing to the nation, giving them quasi-legal status. FBI for emergency custody, but the case was dismissed because of lack of jurisdiction. That's absurd. With the claim, benefits and all last perks. That's another state. Yeah, this claims Mr. Garcia is great secondary assistance in establishing and Democrats are saying, bring this group back. We can beat us up again. Here's another naturalizing these people. Yeah, here's a case. Claims possibly senators get those other kids back because that dad doesn't want to involved in MS-13. That's that. So that's not just so we actually saw a very interesting coach here from our friend Will Cable. Because here's another tell-all story about elections. Now, Gilmar Boyer explained scandal. He has to say what happened with this other security. This guy's lawyer here called this guy's guy is essentially two things. There's some blueprint there for that. Responsible here because of all the police officers what they're alleging is correct. They're very careful. Things are about to and then purpose what's back here what we wrote the supporting of finding those devices left pretty fast. He said the element stands makes no mention of the fact that Garfield is hanging out as a hero. I tell you that on it comes up with the rest of the testimony. It's unsafe ever being. And it's just the site was based on a very old stuff as a whole and if they trust the gas April another one of the lawyers the district court and that is by business, right? So you've got the court still some service everybody black on that takes it so the court of appeals will find
Withdrawals are operating as normal. If you need to move funds on or off Coinbase, you can easily make a transfer via bank account, debit card, PayPal, or wire transfer. Coinbase holds customer assets one.
Word document, okay, so now let's go talk about things like Rain Man, technical documents. Not as like, you have to is what she cited, but that cited the very document she was right. We don't know what's just on here tonight. That's what we have to understand. Even if it's for the channel, saying things, making claims without citing your sources.
What we do on this channel is the process of deconstructing Christianity for those who have made that decision and those who are in the quest of deciding
that document. So you can't circularly cite your own rules. So
started around
second footnote
time I know we started
to the
about 5 minutes
complaint that was written by the lawyer. So now
the clock and we're going to actually get started with a nice conversation.
Underplayed MS-13 evidence. The Sandoval option
We're going to talk about her Joseph.
the only lawyer
How Joseph and
no one else is responsible for it. Very pretty clear.
Joseph created a situation in the regular situation that caused his so-called exit.
Everybody got blind.
We're going to dive into that because the reality of where that story will likely come from
They're not going to admit it, but
and how it will evolve over time.
And there's a question about lawyers. He didn't put it in the
So
report.
we have history of the chapter.
I like that. I like people to rely on the lawyers litigating in front of them. Cut square corners. That didn't happen here. It's a lesson for them in the media. Can't take their words as gospel. They're dressing up their claims. Claims are evidence. We all right to play this stuff. So it's a good thread from our friend Will. And he said he also wants to point this out. One of the key parts of the game file was the assertion of a confidential informant in this Western click thing.
Got
That
to use
array moniker. That's great.
being here in Texas for the first year.
And today, in a moniker,
use some of the elements.
So how did Sandoval deal with that? Well, he asserted, without equivocation, that Westerns can operate in New York, threatened with Long Island. And he says he's never even been to New York. And they cite that, right?
I can't take some of it.
Given how fast and loose he was with the other rules, he said when you see Western click on the DOJ website, what comes up is one particular MS-13 double murder.
Oh, yeah, great
meeting by the DOJ here that the Western click operates.
So a few people signed up for
it's just that there were some
the
people
seminar that we have, the webinar that was going to happen.
I tracked down a major
May the
legal
4th.
MS-13
May the
members
4th, we're going to have a webinar
in the District of Columbia. So they're also in D.C.
3
As
hours.
of at least 2011, the Western webinar was 16 MS-13 guys operating in the D.C. metro area. There's also echoed inside where the Western locals click is in Maryland. So it is conceivable that Aurelio Garcia, our father, was an
The son of the
example
science of its improbability and
lawyers
impossibility.
like Western Click right? That's only, no, it's not true. Western law is Maryland, right? A little dishonest. If I was the lawyer, I would be profusely apologizing to the court next time I show up. They were very aggressive with this, right? These lawyers. Well, the cop was fired and all this stuff, and the cop is like all these claims that everything is explainable. Dude was investigating human trafficking, bringing these amigos out from Texas up into Maryland. Decided they wanted that to stop the Biden administration, who you would expect to let them go because they're facilitating the invasion. And now the evidence, including the white teaching, is all coming clear. These judges got some serious egg on their face right now. Here's what Pam Bondi said about this last night.
I want to put up on the screen a timeline because there seems to be, in the media especially, a narrative that is completely and totally and utterly false regarding Mr. Garcia, and not one but two courts actually said he
Trump is now in his first month in office.
identified him as such.
You think he's doing as well as what you guys know? I think he's doing
Factually, this is an extremely disturbing case, and as a career prosecutor, it is even more disturbing. Every American tonight should be thanking Donald Trump for making America safer by giving this guy a follow a terrorist because he has been designated as a member of a terrorist organization. Illegal alien terrorist came into our country illegally in March of 2012. We know that because he admitted that when he stopped in 2019 by the anti-gay squad. They stopped him at South with three other members. And here's what's very important. He was wearing a sweatshirt with gang insignia on it. The guy who was with us, MS-13, no member had a tattoo with very self-insignia on it. Especially as a member of MS-13, the police officers, the gang units, declared him as a member of MS-13. And also, independently went to a reliable, confidential informant who said, not only is he a member of MS-13, he gave them the clue of the lessers and the terrorist camp, which is one of the highest ratings of MS-13 members. So they rightfully detaining him as right for an immigration judge, agreed, and immigration judge, agreed. And here's where you even more statement. In 2021, his girlfriend previously, his wife at the time, he had married jail, they got numerous tickets to show up before he married her jail. She was dating with him. And police domestic violence prosecutors at the time, it took a lot for anyone to come into court and say they're a victim of domestic violence. This woman came into many other restraining orders against him, saying that he was he had ripped her clothes off. What caused the young woman to be survived? She talked about her child in a petition for an injunction for safety. Ultimately, she didn't show up for court. That's your typical domestic violence victim. But this victim was even braver because she was married to one of the top MS-13 members who was illegally in our country and a terrorist. So, Sean, he, under Donald Trump's incredible plan to get these alien enemies, these terrorists, out of our country, he is deported back to where he came from, El Salvador. He is sitting in a prison, and every American should be thanking President Trump tonight, and every liberal journalist who has called him a Maryland man and saying he was rightfully in this country should be apologizing tonight to President Trump.
Yeah, and it's pretty indicative of who they are as an ideology, on how they're just spring-loaded. They hate Trump so much that they call him somebody who's abusing a terrorist who wasn't abused at all. He just got deported out of our country. They just hate the man so much they can't even see what the outcome of that action was. They have to oppose it no matter what, and the idea that they would align themselves with foreign invaders and terrorists and human traffickers and more over the American constituencies that they serve is shocking, but that's who they are. Hopefully they keep it up.
So let's realize that some situations just stop. Things exist that so let's with this one. The public provides the longest source of protection for 8 continuous months. Stop fighting the source.
Life happens, and when it does, Verizon will protect, sure to make sure your phone is covered. If it's lost, stolen, or damaged, we'll replace it in as little as a few hours. Open enrollment for all device protection options ends May 26. Don't miss out. Learn more and enroll at Verizon.com.
The My View with Laura Trump right here on the Fox News channel. Laura Trump is with us. All right, so now we got 4 congressmen on top of Senator Van Hollen. Why didn't Senator Van Hollen ever pick up a phone and call Rachel Lauren's mother or Kayla Hamilton's family? Why did he care about those constituents that were murdered and raped, that were really from Maryland and were really innocent victims?
It is the question of all questions, the million-dollar question, one might say. And, to see this group of Democrats, descend upon El Salvador as if they are on some incredible mission that we should all applaud what they're doing. It is ridiculous. It's crazy. 54% of Americans in a CNN poll, by the way, said that they think that people who came to this country illegally broke our laws to be here should be deported. Not the least of which, of course, MS-13 gang members, which this guy appears to have been. The fact that you've seen the Democrats stoop to this level, I think it's shocking to everyone. But they never learned their lesson, Sean. They continue digging themselves deeper and deeper. And you realize, when you heard sort of your open there, it's never anyone else's fault. It's Jim Buckler saying that the mainstream media is to blame. It's not the message. It's not that they have bad policies and bad messages. It's that the media hasn't represented it well. Excuse me. The mainstream media has been the marketing arm for the Democrat Party and basically a 24/7 infomercial for the past 8 years. But this is the new Democrat Party. Donald Trump beaten them on every single issue. He won handily on November 5th. He won the popular vote. He won every single swing state. And now they are in disarray. They have no leadership. They have no message. They have no idea what they're doing. So they're all down in El Salvador trying to get a guy.
That's why they should be fired. They should stay in El Salvador.
So you were with the RNC, and now you're hosting a hit show here on Fox. We're glad you're back. But you have the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee is saying pretty much that if you're not in lockstep with AOC, the Squad, and that radical wing party, that they're going to try and primary you. I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't see a lot of pushback. No, Jeffrey Senator Van Hollen sounds to me like Senator Van Hollen ever pick up in the Democratic Party call Rachel Lauren's mother or Kayla Hamilton's family.
The problem they have too with anyone who was sort of a moderate Democrat at this point, won't even admit that they're Democrats. I mean, I interviewed on my show Saturday night. And Mayor Eric Adams in New York City.
Question, Sean, the million-dollar question, one might say, and to see this group of Democrats, descend upon El Salvador as if they are on some incredible mission down there. We should all applaud what they're doing. It is ridiculous. It's crazy. 54% of Americans in a CNN party.
Man, fuck all that bullshit. They can stay down there. We don't need them back in America. They are against Americans. They need to stay in that country. We don't want them back in our country.
So that they think that people who came to this country illegally, broke our laws to be here, should be deported. Not the least of which, of course, MS-13 gang members, which this guy appears to have been. The fact that you've seen the Democrats stoop to this level, I think is shocking to everyone. But they never learned their lesson, Sean. They continue digging themselves deeper and deeper. And you realize, when you heard sort of your open there, is
why are we not putting a petition together to see that they be fired? They are. Everybody that went to this country are traitors to the United States of America and their people.
Saying that the mainstream media is to blame. It's not the message. It's not that they have bad policies and bad messages. It's that the media hasn't represented it well. Excuse me. The mainstream media has
acted, by the way, you just commented on John Fetterman being the most moderate wing of the party. John, they showed like even 2 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy, but that's where they are. You look back at the policies of, look at Hillary Clinton, who you just played a clip from there, and look at Bill Clinton when he was president of the United States. Their policies would actually fit in more so with the Republican Party now than they ever would with the Democrats of today. And so this really is a party that's lost. This really is a party who has no idea what to do. So you can see them grasping at straws and doing crazy things like sending a delegation down to El Salvador, which I assume the taxpayers paid for. So congratulations.
They can stay down there. They can stay down there. They can stay down there.
and bringing back MS-13.
Like I said, they can stay down there. They can stay down there. We do not need them back in America. They can stay down there in Venezuela, where the fuck they at. Because we do not need none of them state officials back here in America. You can stay the fuck in that country there with that fucking illegal alien that you trying to get back to this fucking country that's a fucking gang member and shit. That's some stupid fucking shit. My fucking tax money ain't for that type of fucking shit. Stay your fucking ass in that fucking country, bitch. I don't need you back here in America, fucking up America, you sellout. That bitch is a sellout. All of them. Every last one of them Democrat rats that went over to that country to get that illegal alien that's a fucking gang member and a fucking husband, a wife abuser. Fuck him. And fuck them. They can stay their funk asses in that country. We don't need them back here. None of them.